The lights dimmed as cameras rolled, and a wave of anticipation swept through the audience. The event, billed as a civil discussion about leadership and the future of American values, had suddenly become one of the most anticipated televised panels in years. Not because of the topic, but because of the guests. On one side sat Barack Obama, composed and confident, radiating his trademark cool charisma. On the other side sat Ivanka Trump, polished and elegant, her posture straight, her smile practiced but warm. Everyone knew sparks might fly. No one expected what was about to unfold. The moderator began with what seemed like a harmless question: "What does modern leadership mean to you?" Ivanka spoke first, her tone calm but assertive. "Leadership," she said, "means inspiring people to believe in themselves, to work hard, and to build something of their own. My father always said that America rewards those who dream big and stay focused." Applause followed from a section of the audience. She looked pleased, her words perfectly measured. Obama nodded slightly before responding. "I think leadership means more than success, it's about responsibility," he said, his voice rich and steady. "It's about lifting others as you climb, not just celebrating your own achievements. When leaders forget the people who helped them get there, they stop leading, they start performing." His words lingered, drawing murmurs of approval. Ivanka's polite smile didn't falter, but a flicker of challenge crossed her eyes. The conversation deepened. They debated business ethics, government intervention, and the role of privilege in opportunity. Ivanka defended the free market approach passionately. Government shouldn't be the safety net for everyone, she argued. We need to encourage independence, not dependency. People don't succeed through handouts, they succeed through effort. Obama listened, nodding, his eyes focused. When she finished, he leaned forward slightly, the kind of subtle gesture that said he was about to deliver a point that would hit home. "I agree, Ivanka," he said evenly. "Hard work matters. But let's be honest, some people start at the finish line while others are still trying to find the track. Telling them to run faster doesn't fix the race." The crowd reacted instantly, applause breaking through as Ivanka shifted in her seat, clearly recalibrating her response. Trying to maintain her composure, Ivanka countered, "But President Obama, government aid often traps people in cycles of reliance. We should teach them to build, not to expect." Obama didn't raise his voice, didn't even break a sweat. "Dependency is a problem, sure," he replied smoothly. "But pretending that everyone begins with equal tools is a bigger one. Self-reliance is admirable, but it's hard to be self-reliant when you can't afford the tools, the training, or even a fair start." The crowd clapped again, some even standing. Obama wasn't attacking her, he was dismantling her arguments with the calm precision of a chess player. The moderator, sensing the tension rising, posed a sharper question. "Do you believe America is still the land of opportunity for everyone?" Ivanka took the microphone confidently. "Of course," she said. "This is a country where anyone can rise, where dreams come true if you're willing to work for them. My father's story, my family's story, is proof that hard work pays off." Obama paused, then smiled faintly. "Ivanka, I admire your optimism," he said gently, but his next words carried a sting that sent the audience into an uproar. "But it's a little easier to believe in the American dream when you were born in the penthouse." The crowd gasped, then burst into cheers and laughter. Even the moderator couldn't hide his grin. Ivanka blinked, momentarily thrown off balance, but quickly composed herself. "I don't think where you start should limit what you can achieve," she replied quickly. Obama nodded. "That's exactly my point," he said. "It shouldn't, but it often does. In real leadership isn't about defending your own success, it's about opening doors for those who've never been allowed in the building." His words hit like a thunderclap. The applause was deafening this time, echoing through the hall. For the next 10 minutes, Ivanka tried to redirect the discussion back to business, entrepreneurship, and results-driven policy. But Obama kept bringing it back to people, teachers, single parents, veterans, students. "We can talk about markets all day," he said at one point, "but the market doesn't hug your kid when you're working 3 jobs. The market doesn't care if your neighborhood has no library or clinic. Government doesn't exist to take over, it exists to care when the market doesn't." That line became one of the most quoted moments of the night. Ivanka smiled politely, but her responses grew more cautious, more rehearsed. Obama remained effortless, blending humor with hard truths, turning every rebuttal into a lesson. When the cameras finally cut to commercial, the audience erupted in standing applause, and Obama leaned back in his chair with a quiet smile. Ivanka straightened her notes, avoiding eye contact. She knew she had just faced one of the sharpest minds in modern politics, and that he'd bested her not through confrontation, but with undeniable logic. Within minutes, social media exploded with clips from the exchange. Hashtags like #Obama destroys Ivanka and #Logic wins trended globally. Viewers called it a masterclass in respectful debate. Obama had done it again, using calm, reasoned intelligence to turn a discussion into a defining cultural moment. The morning after the debate, the internet was ablaze. Clips of Barack Obama's calm dismantling of Ivanka Trump's arguments were everywhere, on news sites, social media, even trending on TikTok with captions like, "Logic never loses," and, "Obama still teaching masterclasses." The encounter wasn't meant to be a confrontation, but it had become one of the most talked about moments in television that year. What was supposed to be a conversation about leadership had turned into a viral showcase of intellect, restraint, and the power of words. Commentators scrambled to analyze every exchange. Some called it a lesson in rhetorical precision, while others described it as a polite demolition. Obama's delivery had been effortless, measured pauses, unwavering eye contact, and humor that softened even his sharpest points. Ivanka, on the other hand, was praised for her composure but criticized for her inability to pivot when pressed on issues of privilege and equality. One political analyst summed it up best on CNN: Obama didn't just win the debate. He reminded everyone what thoughtful leadership sounds like. Behind the scenes, Ivanka's team was in damage control mode. They immediately issued statements highlighting her professionalism and calling the debate a respectful exchange of ideas. Still, social media wasn't kind. Memes flooded timelines: Obama sipping tea, Obama dropping a mic, Obama with the caption, "Still undefeated in 2025." Even some moderate conservatives admitted that, while Ivanka had been polished, Obama's logic was simply unbeatable. In Washington, pundits debated what the moment meant for the political landscape. Some believed it reignited nostalgia for Obama's presidency, his articulate way of addressing complex issues without hostility. Younger audiences who had never seen him debate before were captivated. "He's like a calm storm," one Twitter user wrote. "He doesn't yell, but somehow, when he talks, everyone listens." Meanwhile, Ivanka gave her first post-debate interview 2 days later on a morning show. Dressed in muted tones and speaking deliberately, she tried to reframe the moment. "I have tremendous respect for President Obama," she began, "but we simply have different philosophies. I believe in empowering individuals through opportunity, not dependency. My goal isn't to win arguments, it's to create solutions." Her tone was graceful, but the hosts pressed on. Many viewers felt Obama made stronger points about privilege and fairness, one of them said gently. Ivanka smiled tightly. "It's easy to talk about fairness when you've already had your turn leading. But what we need now are builders, not talkers." The statement made headlines, but the reaction was mixed. Some praised her for standing her ground, while others felt she was deflecting. Commentators noted that while Ivanka had handled herself well under pressure, the emotional and intellectual resonance of Obama's words had already taken root. Obama, meanwhile, appeared entirely unfazed by the media frenzy. In an interview with a small community podcast a few days later, he addressed the viral debate for the first time. "I didn't go there to outsmart anyone," he said modestly. "I went there to remind folks that leadership isn't about who speaks loudest, it's about who listens longest. When we forget empathy, we lose our moral compass." The clip went viral all over again. His calm tone, his sincerity, and his unshakable logic reminded millions of why he was once called one of the best communicators in political history. News outlets began running think pieces with titles like, "Obama's Logic vs. Ivanka's Branding: What the Debate Reveals About Modern America." Opinion writers described the moment as symbolic, the intellectual gravitas of the old guard clashing with the corporate polish of the new. One columnist wrote, "Ivanka came prepared with talking points. Obama came prepared with perspective. And perspective always wins." Within a week, the debate had garnered over 50 million views online. College students were quoting Obama's "born in the penthouse" line in class discussions, and even late-night hosts couldn't resist replaying the exchange. It wasn't just about politics anymore, it had become a pop culture phenomenon. Ivanka, determined not to appear defeated, doubled down on her messaging. She launched a short online campaign about entrepreneurial freedom and the power of hard work, attempting to steer the narrative toward her strengths. But despite her efforts, the public memory remained fixed on that one night when Obama's words seemed to slice through noise and ideology alike. For Obama, it was a reaffirmation of what many had missed in modern discourse: clarity, calmness, and compassion. When asked by a journalist if he believed he'd destroyed Ivanka in the debate, he chuckled. "I don't think debates are about destruction," he said. "They're about illumination. If people walked away thinking more deeply about fairness, then that's the real win." By the end of the month, even some conservative commentators quietly admitted that Obama's performance had been unmatched. It wasn't about politics, it was about presence. One Fox News contributor remarked, "You can disagree with him all day, but the man knows how to make a point without losing his cool." That's a skill politicians on both sides could use. The moment transcended partisan lines. It became a cultural reference, a reminder that real intelligence doesn't shout, it reasons. Obama had once again proven that the sharpest power in the room isn't wealth, privilege, or volume. It's logic. And when wielded with empathy and purpose, logic doesn't just win debates, it changes minds. In the weeks that followed, the echo of that debate lingered. College classrooms studied it, talk shows replayed it, and for millions of viewers, one truth remained clear: Barack Obama didn't just outsmart Ivanka Trump that night, he reminded the world what thoughtful leadership really looks like.